It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, 30th of September 2019, 8 a.m. CET, meaning this is a pre-London Open live market coverage only here, Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Good morning, Piotr. Here, my pleasure to be with you guys again. And finally, it arrived. End of the quarter, so end of the third quarter, right? So we are approaching end of the year very, very fast. Anyway, we are going to discuss majors. We are going to discuss indices, all right? But as usual, before we start, guys, let's have a quick risk warning. Please bear in mind, trading FX on margin, trading crypto carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. So, what we have here. If you remember, we were discussing possibility of the going long pound Aussie dollar, and the level of interest been hit Friday. Been trading during the Tokyo session. I'm currently long. Unfortunately, I've been filled with one order, and the second has not been filled. That's how it looks right now from the pound Australian dollar perspective. So just as an update, right? In case you were following this idea of pound Australian dollar, here is the update, and targeting the levels close to 80. Close to 83. Okay, so that's how it looks from the pound Australian dollar perspective, but that's this position already is working, and we are going to discuss the possibilities of other or possibilities available on other crosses. All right, let's start with the dollar index. Okay, that's where the interesting things may happen, especially from the higher time frame. So please bear with me here, and we will switch to the dollar index. All right, this is a 3-month chart of the dollar index. This is the future contract, and as you can see, taking into the consideration the price action we've seen in the last quarter of 2016, right? This attempt to break higher than and this rally of this last quarter of 2016, followed by the sell-off. Okay, the sell-off retest top of that range, as you can see over here, and right now we're trying to go higher. And what is most important from the bull's perspective, in my opinion, let me make a few things here. What is most important is where we are right now, because what we see here, and I bet there is a huge fight is going on between bulls and bears. The first thing first, bulls trying to hold above previous quarter high. All right, so that's very important development, that this quarter the dollar bulls were strong enough to push through the high of the previous quarter. And if we are going to close above that level, from the bull's perspective, that might be significant development here. All right, on the other hand, from the seller's perspective, we are testing the low of the first quarter of 2017, right? So after this huge rally and the breakout, the first quarter of 2017 sell-off, and as you can see right now, we're testing the low, as well as we are testing those shadows we've seen to the left ahead of this break during the fourth quarter of 2016. So that's why I've mentioned that I bet huge fight is going on here. I would say, you know, I don't want to bias anyone, right? Just to be perfectly clear, I would say that right here, right now, sellers, I am fan of the dollar, but I do understand, based on the chart only, that here sellers got a little bit more in their hands to try to push prices higher, even below previous quarter high, right? Because that's gonna be the key for sellers, to try to push and close the lower over the course of the day today, to close the quarter below previous quarter high. That's the key here, right? And taking into the consideration what we've seen, all right, and where we are to the left. So that's how I see the things. In case of the strong close and very strong beginning of the next quarter, what we might see eventually is another wave of the higher dollar prices, right? Towards, based on this high time frame, right? Based on this higher time frame. Okay, we might see even 105, 106 during the upcoming quarters, I would say. I'm not sure if we are going to see that during the last quarter of 2019, but it might be the case. It might be the case for the 2020, right? Ahead of the election. Some kind of the megaphone is going on here. Anyway, that's how I see the things on the dollar. So, you know, it's gonna be very interesting to see where we are towards end of the quarter, especially that as long as we are below 110 on euro dollar, the 108 from the weekly, as well as the post-French election gap. That's the target for the early October, right? So euro dollar is showing a little bit different picture than what I've been trying to explain here, that the bears, dollar bears, got the chance here, right? So it's a little bit different picture. Anyway, that's how it looks from the higher time frame perspective on the dollar index. So let's get back to the platform. Let's check the particular crosses. We are going to connect with Michał as well. He has something for us about the President Trump and China as well. So going back to the platform right now. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with euro dollar. Calendar is very interesting from the perspective of the euro dollar. Just 1 second. The German August retail sales 0.5 versus 0.5 expectations. All right. Nothing extraordinary here. But what we have to remember in relation to the euro, that over the course of the whole day, we are going to get the inflation data, right? Preliminary CPI month to month, and over the course of the London session, the market will get the piece by piece from different lens, and then around the US Open, around the New York Open, we are going to get the full CPI report, preliminary CPI out of the Germany. If we are talking about the calendar, we do have UK final GDP, and we are going to cover it live. So you are more than welcome to join me this morning. Actually, within the next 2 hours, I'm going to cover this UK GDP live here, Light Forex Global YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to join me this morning. Anyway, during the Tokyo session, we got the non-manufacturing PMI, manufacturing PMI out of the China. China has a golden week, right? Am I right? Is it golden week? Anyway, China is going to be on holiday, bank holiday. But this PMI, manufacturing one below 50, 49.8. Non-manufacturing 53.7, expectations 53.9, and KX in manufacturing PMI 51.4, 50.2 expectations. Ahead we have this, as I mentioned before, German preliminary CPI. We do have UK data, and then at 11 a.m. Italian preliminary CPI, as well as a European unemployment rate, and nothing extraordinary during the New York session, just Chicago PMI over the course of the day. So from that perspective, let's have a look what we have here on the euro dollar daily chart. Let's start with daily, week. All right, Thursday, Friday, upper shadows, and looks like we are approaching bottom of that channel. That's the first thing first, and then if you remember, we have this weekly demand zone. The bottom of that zone is around 108, as well as this post-French election gap over here, right? So 108 and a little bit below might be in play as early as October. From the daily chart perspective, Looks like this last week low might be under pressure, and I'm very interesting what's going to happen once we are going to break that low. Right now, why I'm going to watch very carefully is that because of this dollar index chart from the higher time frame perspective, but still think we are not going to get a huge bounce on the euro yet, right? So based on what we have here, selling the Rileys might be the name of the game, and this big breakout candle from the 25th of September from last Wednesday and Thursday high, some stops right over here. That's where I do expect some liquidity, so market may want to retest 110 again, all right, maybe a little bit higher, and I do expect a continuation to the downside. The only thing, I'm not going to try to sell euro around 110 or a little bit higher than 110, is the first move to the downside, hitting the bottom of that channel, hitting some levels close to or below 108.50, right? So this type of the move with the rejection. So that's where I'm not gonna to try to sell euro that low, right? I'm going to give them some space to try to test. If you remember, 1150 is the level we were waiting for at some point. So that's how I see the things on the euro dollar from the daily chart perspective. Let's switch to intraday 1 hour chart. All right, looks like some kind of the consolidation may take place here. Market was trying to create the round bottom late Thursday, beginning of Friday, with attempt to rally towards end of the session, failure at some point, and we are in the middle of that range, right? So nothing extraordinary here as of now. Again, if that's the case, the range, if that's the case here, right? So in case of the break to the upside, doubling that range, and as you can see, levels close to or a little bit above 110 as a possible selling zone. That's what I've been talking about. Okay, so that's how I see the euro dollar. Stay with me, please. I'm going to connect with Michał. Let's have a look what he has for us this morning, and we'll continue our journey through the charts with Michał. Give us a few seconds and we are going to get back together. Mr. Michał, good morning. How are you doing?
Hello, hello. I think I am doing better than you, according to your voice. Today I can say that you are very, very sleepy. Yeah,
it's a little bit too early for me today.
Gotcha.
a little bit too early.
Yeah, Monday, but yeah, I have the new coffee dispenser and new coffee beans, and they are like eggs, working like eggs for me, very strong. So I am feeling pretty good.
Goodies. So all over to you.
Yeah, today as it's a Monday, I will be very quickly resuming everything, and maybe I will start from this impeachment inquiry occurred with the Trump. and the thing that is going on looks like I think he might the tensions are growing, like the media attention and the you know social attention to this is growing, and overall the media is showing that it's getting worse for Trump, and we have the information that this whistleblower will be soon speaking in front of the parliament. But I think that I was also reading the information that this investigations of Biden's company that his son was working in the Ukraine, and this gas company was began way before. And also we have like the interviews from the Ukraine's prosecutors from months before, from March, that the Biden was trying to put a pressure on Ukraine officials to fire another Ukrainian prosecutor who didn't want to end the investigations in his company. So I think he might get out of this situation with the not on the shield but with the shield, and it could that's my way of thinking right now. And the other thing is this today's morning information from the China.
Wait with China, please. Let's go through the dollar yen chart here. End of the quarter, end of the month, bulls were trying to recover, and the good thing and good news here is that if we are going to take into the consideration last three candles of this monthly chart, the September rally is very close to the open of July, meaning that we are creating some dodgy candle on the quarterly chart, right? So that's some kind of the, let's call it, hesitation after this retest of this levels around 105 or a little bit below 105, this weekly demand zone. So this recovery, we have to honestly say it was quite good from the buyer's perspective, and the continuation cannot be ruled out. So here is the weekly chart, and as we discussed previously, the levels close to 109 are still possible, right? And once we are going to be closer to 109 like this, the pullback, that might be the question of the right shoulder with the possible inverted head and shoulder in that case, right? As you can see here. So big game here, very similar to what we discussed on euro dollar. And again, the dollar yen is checking the dollar yen chart and trying to get some kind of the view here is completely opposite to what I see on the dollar index. So again, euro dollar showing the possibility of the lower levels, dollar yen showing the possibilities of the continuation to the upside. Those two are the strongest inside the dollar basket, but dollar basket there is a chance for a little bit of the pullback. So something is not correct, and it's gonna be very interesting over the course of the day. So to see where we are closing the quarter, as well where we are going to start the last quarter of this year. Anyway, going lower to the daily chart, a little bit of the pullback during the Friday session. Start of a new week, some kind of the preparation from the swing high, but again, as we discussed, the previous high of 108.50 around, right? It was so close to 109, 109.20. I think that we didn't finish the business, and we are about to hit those latest high here to try to find some liquidities and pushing higher, retesting the top of that range, previous range, around 109, 109.20. So the good thing is, over the course of the Tokyo session, as you can see, bulls are trying to hold the low, trying to hold above the high from the 24th of September, and as long as we are above, the chances are that instead of creating swing high here, we are going to look for the stops above Friday high, and then those stops around 108.50. So trying to buy the dip on the dollar yen right now is like the name of the game. Now the good question could be, Piotr, but where is the dip possible, right? And I think that somewhere here, lower towards 107.55, 107.30. That's yeah, where I'm going to try to take the advantage of eventual pullback. In case of the strong rally towards Friday high, because that's also might be the key. In case of the rally towards Friday high, in case of the stop count here and rejection, that might be case for the short setup. Still, it's going to be around 108.20, 108.30. So failure here may reopen the move back towards 107.50, 107.30. So looks like the trade both direction that could be from the that could be possible from the intraday perspective. Going back to you, Michał.
Okay, going according to what I said, before we will talk about a little bit of China and the good manufacturing data. Lately we had this news from the reporters, from their source. Yeah, of course, nothing official. That the White House is thinking about restricting U.S. investment in China and to close we can say the possibility of investing in China markets.
That was one of the reasons of the market weakening last Friday, right?
Yes, and it looks like it's nothing official, but it's again some manipulation towards the trade war, because I think they are sick when nothing is going on and nothing they can't explain any move. And the thing is that they might delist Chinese stocks and limiting the public government pensions, retirement pensions, to invest in China markets. That I think is just another some manipulation. Somebody wanted to just try to take advantage of this move.
So let's have a look what we have on the dollar Chinese yuan chart, because market after the news you've mentioned about hit last Friday, we saw the spike on the dollar Chinese yuan towards 7.15, right? We cleared the stops above 7.15, but what was very interesting, it was the end of the day and creation of the upper shadow. So what happened here, if you remember, we got back based on the news above 710 with this Chinese Montana trip cancellation. Then another news about the China, and we hit 715. But there is a rejection, and based on what we have to the left side, right, this 715 was quite important level to renew the possibility of the retest of 720 and then 725. With this type of the setup and what we are going to talk about, good PMI, looks like Chinese yuan is trying to recover. So right now on the dollar Chinese yuan, we are trapped in between 710 715, and it's gonna be very interesting to watch the development here. Either we are going to break through 715 opening 720, or we are going to break 710 opening psychological 7 level. So again, that's gonna be very, very interesting. Back to you, Michał.
What else I can add? I think that from the most important things that happened, happened during the weekend, and today's morning it will be all. We have later, as you mentioned, there is a UK GDP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and German unemployment change. So I think according to US and China stuff, there is nothing more to add. So I think
okay. Okay. Are you going to join us for this UK GDP?
I think not today. Today I think not.
You are going to focus on your
It's
trading, right?
like preparation for the whole week, so I will reserve this time for myself.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your inputs.
Thank you also.
Have a great London session, and see you around in that case. Take care. Goodbye.
Yeah, see you around. Goodbye.
For the buyers is here that trying to hold over the course of previous week, trying to hold this 26,700. So I'm not gonna be involved today with indices, just observation and trying to prepare the battle plan for October, for early October, and yeah, window dressing. So be careful, guys. Try not to be trapped on that field. Gold, stronger dollar, lower gold, and we are approaching again this very important level, 1485, 1480, and we were trying to find the opportunity to join the party to the downside. Unfortunately, as you can see, we were waiting within this yellow box with the selling order. Didn't materialize, going lower. This head and shoulders from the daily chart, yeah, might be in place. I'm not gonna chase the price here. Again, I wanna see where we are going to close, taking into the consideration higher time frame. As you know, there was a rejection based on the weekly supply, as you can see here on the monthly, as well this box and the bottom of that box working as a supply for now, right? So it's gonna be very, very interesting where we are going to close on the monthly basis on the gold. Move and close below 1480 may reopen 1440, 1415, right? So there are few possibilities to try to measure where we might fall. The one is 1-to-1, the second is the head and shoulders, and it's gonna give us something similar, right? So 1440, 1415 in case of the break through 1485, 1480. So very, very interesting situation on the gold side. And oil, congratulations. Just to be on a safe side and to be frank with you, I didn't participate with this failure on the oil, but that's something we discussed for a few days in relation to the oil. I've been trading different stuff, but congratulations to all of you who are participating in this failure here. Gap closing, stop count, and rejection. So there was a few cents. There was a possibility to grab a few cents here on the oil. Right now, based on expectations that market is going to try to make this window dressing, it's not gonna be possible without the oil. So probably there is a chance we might see attempt to rally on oil. And you know, I'm still waiting for maybe retest 59.60 at least. So that's possible, right? Attempt to closing the gap, rally, and we will see where we are, guys. That's it from my side. Tricky times, end of the month, end of the quarter, usually that's the tricky times. So don't be trapped. And you are more than welcome to join me 10:15 a.m. CET. So within the next 1 hour and 30 minutes, I'm going to cover live UK GDP. Hopefully we are going to have some fireworks and possibility to trade the news. Have a good one, guys, and see you around. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.